If you're watching this video, you're probably already confused. Because the Whoop 5.0 keeps popping up in conversations about fitness and health wearables, but at the same time, it doesn't really fit in the same category as most smartwatches or fitness trackers. So the big question is Whoop actually useful, or is it just overhyped data wrapped in a subscription? Let's talk about it honestly. First things first, the Whoop 5.0 is not a smartwatch. No screen. No notifications. No apps. No time display. And that alone already tells you something important. Whoop is not trying to compete with Garmin, Apple Watch, or Samsung. It's playing a completely different game. Whoop is basically a 24/7 body monitoring band. The idea is simple: instead of telling you what you did, it tries to tell you how your body is responding to what you do. That sounds great in theory, but whether it's actually useful depends a lot on the type of person you are. You wear the band all day and all night. It's light, minimal, and honestly very comfortable. After a few days, you forget it's even there, and that's one of its strongest points. There's no screen lighting up, no vibration, no distraction. It just sits there collecting data. Now, what kind of data? Whoop tracks heart rate variability, respiratory rate, blood oxygen levels, skin temperature trends, and activity strain. All of that feeds into three main scores: strain, recovery, and sleep. This is where Whoop starts to feel very different from most wearables. Instead of saying you slept 7 hours, good job, Whoop tries to answer questions like, how well did you actually recover? Is your body ready to push today? Are you accumulating too much stress over time? The recovery score is probably the most talked about feature. It's mainly based on heart rate variability, resting heart rate, and sleep quality. Some days it'll tell you you're good to go. Other days it'll basically suggest you take it easy. For people who train hard and often feel burned out, this can be eye-opening. It forces you to think in terms of recovery, not just effort. That said, this is also where Whoop can become frustrating. Because sometimes, it tells you to rest. On a day you feel perfectly fine. Or it gives you a decent recovery score after a bad night, and you're left wondering how much you should really trust it. So no, it's not magic. It's a decision support tool, not a rulebook. Sleep tracking is another area where Whoop shines, but again, with some caveats. It does a very detailed breakdown of sleep stages, consistency, disturbances, and sleep debt. Over time, it can actually help you spot patterns, like how alcohol, late meals, or training late at night affect your recovery. But if you're the kind of person who already knows they should sleep more and just doesn't, then this data won't suddenly fix that. One thing Whoop does very well is trend tracking. It's not about one night or one workout, it's about what happens over weeks and months. And if you like looking at long-term patterns, this is where the product makes sense. Battery life is solid. Around 2 weeks, sometimes more depending on usage. And yes, you can charge it without taking it off, which sounds like a gimmick but is actually very practical. Now let's talk about the part that turns a lot of people away, the subscription. With Whoop, you're not just buying a device. You're paying for access to the platform. Without the subscription, the band is basically useless. This is probably the most controversial part of the product, and honestly, it's a fair criticism. If you compare it to a Garmin or an Apple Watch, where you pay once and get years of use, Whoop feels expensive over time. And that alone makes it a bad deal for some people, no matter how good the data is. Another thing worth mentioning, Whoop can feel overwhelming. There's a lot of data, a lot of metrics, a lot of explanations. If you enjoy digging into numbers and learning how your body reacts, that's great. If not, you might find yourself ignoring half the app after the first few weeks. Also, if you're mostly interested in casual fitness, steps, calories, basic workouts, Whoop is probably overkill. So let's be very clear about who this is not for. If you want a smartwatch with a screen, this is not it. If you care about notifications, this is not it. If you don't want a subscription, this is not it. If you just want something simple, this is not it. Whoop only really makes sense if you train regularly, care about recovery and sleep, are willing to adjust your habits based on data, don't mind paying for ongoing insights. And even then, it's not perfect. I wouldn't say Whoop is better than other wearables. I'd say it's more specialized. Some people absolutely love it and won't wear anything else. Others try it for a few months and realize it's not for them, and both reactions are completely valid. So is the Whoop 5.0 worth it? It depends less on the product and more on how you think about training and health. If you're expecting motivation or convenience, you might be disappointed. If you're looking for awareness and long-term insight, it can be very useful. If you're curious, check the links below to see current pricing and availability.